The room was cold that night, too cold for a body that was still alive. I remember the quiet hum of the hospital machines, the way the lights flickered softly on the white walls. My daughter sat beside me, her fingers wrapped tightly around mine as if holding me could keep me here. She whispered, "Mama, don't leave me, please." I wanted to answer her, but my lips wouldn't move. My chest burned with every shallow breath. I could feel something changing inside me, like the world itself was fading, second by second. The nurse checked my vitals, her expression turning pale. She called for the doctor, her voice shaking, her heart rates dropping fast. Then it happened. A pressure in my chest, a final exhale, and everything went still. No pain, no sound, just silence. The beeping machine gave a long, flat tone, the sound no family ever wants to hear. My daughter screamed my name, but I was already somewhere else. I didn't fall into darkness. I rose into light. It was strange. One moment I was staring at the ceiling. The next I was above it, looking down at myself. The doctors and nurses moved frantically around my bed, their faces tense. I could see the panic in their eyes as they pressed on my chest, as they tried to call me back. But I wasn't afraid. I felt peaceful. My body was gone, but I was still me. Every sound below me was muffled, like I was underwater. Yet every color around me was alive: gold, blue, white, swirling together like clouds of living light. I looked at my daughter, kneeling on the floor, her hands clasped together, praying. I wanted to touch her, to tell her I could still hear her, that I wasn't gone. But my hand passed right through her shoulder like mist. And that's when I realized I wasn't dreaming. I had died. But death didn't feel like an ending. It felt like an opening. A door had been unlocked, and something beyond it was calling me forward. The light ahead grew brighter, warmer, and even though I didn't have a heartbeat, I felt something deep within me stirring. A pull, a comfort, a peace too pure to explain. For the first time in my life, I wasn't afraid to let go. And so, I drifted toward that light, not knowing that I was about to see everything we spend our whole lives wondering about. I don't remember walking, I simply moved, pulled by a warmth that felt like love itself. The light in front of me wasn't harsh or blinding. It was soft, golden, alive. It shimmered like morning sunlight through the window after a long night of rain. The farther I went, the lighter I felt. No pain, no weight, no sickness clinging to my chest. It was as if every burden I had ever carried, every sorrow, every regret fell away behind me like dust. My mind wasn't foggy anymore. My thoughts were clear, my heart open. And for the first time in years, I felt whole. Then I began to hear them. Voices gentle, familiar, echoing through the light. "Come home, baby." I froze. That voice. I'd know it anywhere. It was my mother. I turned, and there she was, young again. Just like I remembered her from my childhood. Her smile was radiant, her eyes full of peace. Beside her stood my husband, wearing that same Sunday suit he'd been buried in. He looked at me and said softly, "You did good, sweetheart, you made it." Behind them stood my baby boy, the one I lost before I ever got to hold him. He was laughing, reaching for me with chubby hands. And when I picked him up, I didn't feel the sadness that used to haunt me, only warmth, only joy. The air around me shimmered with love. It wasn't silent, it sang, not with words, but with something deeper. It was as if every heartbeat, every prayer I'd ever whispered, had taken on a sound of its own. I asked, "Am I home now?" And my mother smiled. "Not yet, child. You've seen heaven, but your story isn't finished." A voice, powerful yet gentle, echoed all around me. "You've walked through fire and came out with faith, but there's still light you must bring to others. Go back, tell them what love feels like when fear is gone." I wanted to stay. Oh, how I wanted to stay. That place was everything this world isn't. No pain, no hate, no loneliness. Just peace. But as soon as the words were spoken, I felt a pull, a tug from behind, gentle but strong. The light around me began to fade. My mother reached for my face, tears of light in her eyes. "Remember this," she said. "You were never alone, not even in your darkest hour." And then, the world around me dissolved. The warmth vanished, and I began to fall fast, heavy, back into the cold and the noise. Somewhere far away, I heard someone shouting, "She's breathing. We've got her back." And just like that, heaven disappeared. It felt like crashing through worlds, one filled with peace, the other with chaos. The warmth that had embraced me seconds ago was ripped away, replaced by pain. Heavy, unbearable pain. My chest burned, my lungs screamed for air, and my heart, it felt like someone was striking it with thunder. I gasped. A sound so raw it startled even me. "Wait, she's back." Someone shouted. The room exploded into motion. Blurry faces leaned over me, the nurse, the doctor, my daughter crying uncontrollably. The sound of the heart monitor returned. One sharp beep at a time, as if counting me back into life. My body felt foreign. My limbs were heavy, my skin cold. But I was here. I blinked through the tears and saw the doctor shaking his head in disbelief. "She was gone for 7 minutes, he said softly, his voice trembling. 7 whole minutes. My daughter grabbed my hand and pressed it against her cheek. "Mama, you came back. Oh, thank God, you came back." I wanted to tell her everything about the light, the voices, my mother, my baby, but the words stuck in my throat. I just looked at her and whispered, "I saw them." She frowned. "Who? Mama?" I smiled weakly, tears rolling down my temples. "Everyone I lost." The doctor thought I was hallucinating, but I knew better. My heart had stopped. Yet I hadn't. I'd crossed a line that separates the seen from the unseen, and somehow found my way back. For the next few moments, I could feel both worlds tugging at me. One full of love and peace, the other full of people who still needed me. And in that fragile space between death and life, I understood something. Heaven doesn't send you back unless there's a reason. The doctor called it a miracle. The nurse called it impossible. But I called it grace. When I finally closed my eyes that night, I didn't feel fear. I didn't worry about my heart or the machines. I just whispered a prayer of thanks, not for surviving, but for seeing, because now I knew the truth. Death wasn't the end. It was only the door. And somehow, for reasons beyond my understanding, I had been allowed to step back through it. And those 7 minutes, those sacred, silent, shining minutes would live inside me forever. They say time heals everything, but after dying, I learned that time means nothing when your soul sees eternity. It's been months since that night. Yet every moment of those 7 minutes lives inside me as clearly as if it happened this morning. Sometimes, when I close my eyes, I still see that light, not bright like the sun, but warm like forgiveness. I still hear the whisper of my mother's voice, the laughter of my baby boy, the peace that wrapped around me like a promise kept. At first, I tried to tell people what I'd seen. Some believed me, most didn't. The doctor smiled politely and said, "It was just your brain reacting to oxygen loss." But they didn't understand. I didn't see heaven with my eyes. I felt it with my soul. I remember the colors, not from this world. The way love filled the air like light. The way nothing, not fear, not pain, not even death could touch me there. It wasn't a dream. Dreams fade. This never did. Every time I wake up now, I touch my chest and thank God for the heartbeat that shouldn't still be there. Every morning feels like a gift, a chance to love better, forgive faster, and speak softer. I tell my daughter often, we waste so much time waiting for perfect days, but every breath we take is a perfect day, because it means we still have time to love. When people ask me what death feels like, I tell them this. It's not the darkness we fear. It's the light we don't yet understand. And that light loves us more than we can ever imagine. I used to be afraid of dying, afraid of leaving the world, my family, my memories. But now, I know death isn't an ending. It's a doorway, and when it opens, we don't lose who we are. We remember who we've always been. So when the storms of life come, when pain feels endless and hope feels small, I want people to remember this story. Because I was gone for 7 minutes. 7 minutes without a heartbeat. 7 minutes beyond this world. And I came back with only one truth in my heart. Love never dies. It follows us there. It brings us back. And it's the only thing we take with us when everything else fades away.